This right here is one of my best games, in my opinion, I ever played. It's definitely not my most high accuracy game, but it's the most interesting and the most aggressive I've played and most confidence I had in my own moves. I had one brilliant move, as you saw from the thumbnail. It's a crazy rook blunder actually, but turns out it was brilliant. If you take away anything from this game, just have confidence in your own blunders and pretend they're brilliant. Okay? To an extent. Let's begin. I start with Queen Spawn opening. I play the Jobava London. So this is all standard stuff. You'll see it pretty much every time. And this is where most people deviate. So some people, as you see, blocking their bishop right here. And other people might protect this, or if they go here, that's a blunder. Believe it or not, they actually lose a pawn no matter what. And so basically what this tells me is when he goes here is now it's safe to bring my knight out eventually. Say he went here, I would go here, and then let's say he goes here, which actually happens a lot more than you think. The idea is he goes here, he wants to keep his bishop active, but I still push it. And then he goes here, and I still push pawns. And this position's so strange, but it's slightly beneficial to white. And it's super, super easy to find the ideas for white and super hard to find the ideas for black. So the computer is fine with this position, but in actuality, you're going to win like 70 to 80% of your games in this position. So, alright, he blocks in his bishop. I do this in the Jobava London. You typically want to bring this knight out as your last development piece, which is against principles. Notice I said in the Jobava London. Usually you want knights out before bishops, but in this opening you want this knight last for just different reasons. If you learn more about this opening, I highly recommend Alex Benzea. He'll teach you a lot on how to play this right and why you do the moves you do, so you'll know the ideas instead of just playing moves because someone told you. So okay, this is all it's pretty standard so far. Usually people bring this here. Usually people bring this bishop here though, and actually what happens is I don't do anything. I don't even go here to like protect it. I don't bring it back. You just completely ignore it. And actually, you're completely fine with him taking this, because this pawn has it's controlling the center pretty well. He can't really push this up, and he can't get his pieces in, more importantly. Once we finish development and we'll actually castle short, we can bring our rooks in, and I can bring all my attackers over to his king, and he has no good way to bring more defenders. So eventually you'll just wear him down with all your threats. But that's not what happened, so he brought his bishop here. Just standard development. This is actually inaccurate because in the opening, you typically want to push this pawn forward and bring this knight over here. So the computer just doesn't like this because it's not the opening. So I bring my knight out, which is the final piece. And usually in London systems, you want to castle long. However, in the Jobava London, unless they're like doing King's Indian or something, you castle short. Just because it's easier for you to get your attackers than defenders. Notice if I castled long, he can get his attackers in pretty easily. Now, it might not actually be a problem, but this is kind of like a beginner opening and an opening where it's easy to find the ideas. So we're castling short, so it's easier for us. I bring this back so I can add more attackers to his king, but computer prefers this move. Whatever. Probably because he's gonna have to go back or either be really passive or go here and be passive on this square. Notice if he goes here, he gets double pawns, which is computer doesn't like. So that is a good move. Or he has to trade bishop for knight, which is bad. So I do this, strengthen my pawn structure. Notice his light squared bishop's gonna be trapped in the whole game because of this opening. He trapped this in, and he brought it this way. You're gonna have to figure something out this way if you trap it in. So I strengthened my dark squares and prepared to put my queen on this square. And now here's the first out of the ordinary move, pretty much. Um, it is the best move. Just because it's out of the ordinary doesn't mean it's wrong. He attacks this, but as I showed you before, I'm totally okay with this. I actually really want this. I want to take with this pawn. So I do, however, go against that, which more practically speaking, it was probably better to just ignore it and let him think he's getting some sort of advantage when really I know how to play that position. Yeah, so I just bring my queen over. He doesn't actually take it. So he wants to save this pawn, which makes sense. He has to save the pawn first. And then he was probably going to take it. So maybe I should have played a waiting move, practically speaking, but this isn't a bad move either, because my thought process was, okay, I'm going to bring my knight into the attack, which I want to do anyways. Otherwise, I'll just be wasting a move. And I also want to break open the center, because notice how all of his pieces are kind of stuck over here. If I manage to break open the center and get my rooks involved, it's going to be very dangerous for his king. So really what I'm trying to do here is just find a way to get my rooks involved in the long term without getting his rooks involved, or other pieces for that matter. So he takes, I take obviously, and now he brings this here, which they say is an inaccuracy, but it's not so easy to see. I'm not sure why. Because of h5. Yeah, so the thing about like computers, especially when we're like 1700 rated and lower, 2000 rated and lower, we don't really have to worry about the inaccuracies. If the reason isn't like obvious to us when we try to figure out why it's an inaccuracy, just don't bother with it really, which is kind of like, I guess, controversial advice, but we really got to worry about missed tactics, blunders, and mistakes. Inaccuracies is like, we'll wait till we're like master level. I don't even know. But we have a lot of time before we have to worry about that. So here is a mistake. Actually, because it wanted this move, which kind of makes sense because it's just adding more attackers on his king. He either has to weaken it to remove it or just kind of leave it there. So I guess that's the reason why this is the best move. And here I take this. I'm trying to go for some sort of, well, actually, what was my thought process in the game was I thought I was gonna win material because I was like, okay, I take a pawn, he takes my knight, and I take his knight, and I'm up. And then I realized as soon as I played it, wait, he could just take my pawn back, and now it's just a trade, and everything I worked for this whole game is kind of going to waste because now he has two strong bishops after he had two weak bishops. And now he could get more defenders in the attack when my whole point of this opening was to get attackers in without him getting defenders in. So I kind of just mess it up right there. And trades happen. And I go here because I don't want him to mess up my pawn structure, and so I need to move this or defend it. And I don't want to trade because that ruins this battery that's going to be threatening his king pretty much all game until I use it. So I don't want to trade that. So I go here because the only other move is to be passive really. So here, and then I'm hoping to get rid of his bishop pair and get a nice kind of center, stopping him from pushing up pawns. That's what I'm hoping for. Either that or he just leaves my knight there, which is a strong knight. It's an inaccuracy, not sure why. Here he thought he had something. He doesn't have anything. Like, I don't know. You can try to find what he's looking for, but I imagine it's, well, he did play. So I took it, and he gave me a check, and then I go in the corner, and he thought he had something. And all I have to do is raise this pawn. Like, it's not that serious. He doesn't have a threat. He can't take this because it's double protected, so he can't, like, remove a defender or anything. And now he's just trying to activate his pieces, standard. And this is a blunder. I'm going to give you 3 seconds to pause the video to figure out why. Okay, so this is just a standard remove the defender tactic. So if he goes here, then I take back pretty much, and he wins a pawn. Notice it said don't take back because this is such a strong pawn. I need this pawn protected. So it's not even about losing the pawn. It's about losing my king's safety. Go here, brings out his rook. I blunder. He misses it with another blunder. It's not just a miss. It's also a blunder. I'll give you a chance to pause the video to figure out why. Okay. And I saw this one. Boom. Why? Can't go here. Can't take. You can only go here. And now, what's the next move? Boom. You lose the bishop. You lose the bishop. Why? Because it's a double check. Double check, baby. Alright. Alright, he's coming. He's attacking this. Now what? I'll give you a chance. Figure it out. Pause the video. Boom! Give him the knight. I don't even want the knight. I lost my material advantage pretty much. It's only +1, but I don't care. He has a checkmated 1 threat on my king. I do not care. I have confidence in my moves. I lose my advantage, but I trust that I will find something just because his king is so weak and I have tempo. Tempo is so important. So, okay, I take. Do I take? Yeah, I do take. He's forced here, only move. I follow up with Queen G8, which is actually a mistake, I guess. The elo bar, or the eval bar doesn't like it so much. But I go here and here because my thought process is, well, he's gonna go here, I get another pawn and I can come back, or he's gonna go here, I win a rook, or he goes here and I win a pawn. So notice he did go here. I think he's trying to bait me to take the rook. Why can't I take the rook? Because he's a checkmate in 1 threat. So I take the pawn. So basically the rest of the game he's gonna have a checkmate in 1 threat, and I need to have checks in order to win. Otherwise he's gonna checkmate me, or I need to bring in a defender as a last resort. Like, oh no, I'm out of checks. I gotta help my team. But now I'm back up 3 because I got some pawns and a rook. Okay, so he blocks here, but notice I can go here now. There's still checks, and this pawn is hanging because he blocked it. He blocked the defender of that pawn. So I take it with another check, and now we're kind of torn here, right? Because this looks really scary. I go here, he blocks, and this is a miss. I noticed literally right after I played it that I could accomplish the same thing, but better. It's literally made in 3. So yeah. But anyways, mistakes happen. It's a miss. I played it, and I just thought, wow, how do I not see a checkmate right now? Somehow it says mate in 14 on this. I feel like there should be a mate way sooner. Look how weak this guy is. He's literally in a mating net. He only has 1 square he can go to. So, check. I'm like, yeah, you can have that pawn. Notice the drawback of this check is, boom, defends it. Oh my god, I gotta go over here now. He defends it. And now what? So, that's what happens. But of course, I had more planned than just checks. So I go here. I was like, okay, now I'm gonna defend with the check. I was like, okay, you can take it, and I'm gonna go here because if you bring this over, I can go here and win your bishop. So, and he won't have a checkmate threat anymore. But I go here and he actually moves his king. Now, find the brilliant move in this position. You will never guess the brilliant move to continue for a continuation of a mate in 8 forced. Did you find it? Well, if you clicked on the video, I hope you found it because it was in the thumbnail. So, the brilliant move is here. And that's exactly what I played. Why? Because I blundered my rook. I forgot this was here. It hasn't moved the whole game. I played it, I was like, oh my god. And I was so mad at myself. But it's brilliant. Why? Why is this brilliant? Well, I'll tell you why. Because he either has to take or move. Move is easier, so we'll start there. If he moves, I'm just going over here. He has to come here. Another check. Only move. Defend. Boom. Checkmate. Literally only moves. So now he takes. Why is this brilliant? Well, this one's harder to explain. This one I still don't fully understand, but it becomes clear in the final move of this game that it was actually necessary. So I give another check, of course, and now he doesn't have a checkmate in one threat, by the way. And this check is not to win his bishop. I'm going for his king. So I have to keep giving checks. So the pawn was the move I went for. I don't think this would help at all. Yeah. Yeah, I don't think this would help. Yeah. So, boom. He's forced in the corner. Bring my rook out again. He can move his king or bring his knight, bring his rook out. So he brings his rook out. And I said, okay. Now I'm checking you again. Why? Because you can only go here or here. If you go here, it's pretty much game over. So he goes up here. The problem with that is that's checkmate in one. So tell me why. Why was the rook blunder brilliant? It's because of this literal one sequence, one possibility that he could have done out of these, like, so many things he could have done. I don't even know the number. It estimated like 5, 6 different paths he could have done within 8 moves. Like 45 different moves. That's not how math works, but don't talk about that. It's because it was a deflection tactic. Remember when we talked about this deflection tactic? Here, this is a remove the defender, actually, not deflection. But because he removes the defender, this what I did here pretty much was remove the defender or deflected it away from this crucial c7 square, which actually ended in checkmate. c7, queen checkmate. That's it. That's all I got. Let me know what you guys think about that. If you think it was cool, or if you think I just suck and got lucky, which is also true. I'm thinking about doing like a video or a stream or something where if I don't reach 2,000 elo, I'm gonna shave my head bald or something. Let me know if you guys would be interested. That sounds like a lot of fun. Not shaving my head bald, but stream. And if you noticed, I am now 1,700 elo, which is a lot lower from my peak in my last video, where I was 1,900 and my peak was 1967 or 76. I don't remember. I gotta get it back up. I've been on a break from chess, so let's try to grind back up, and maybe shaving my head bald will force me to lock in. All right, that's all for today. See y'all later.